1999. That was before McVeigh's 60-minute interview, and they stopped all others. And that was a TV interview, a local TV interview that I gave then. And all requests for national interviews, even before that and afterwards, have been denied. My fight, I fought it all the way to the Supreme Court and had numerous news organizations. I had 22 news organizations file an amicus brief with the United States Supreme Court asking the court to hear this case because they thought the ban on the media, and I'm talking about all the mainstream media, from the LA Times to the Washington Post, New York Times, they all joined the amicus brief. The reporters professional journalism. I can't remember all the names of the societies that joined in, but it was impressive. But
here we are, and the world's hearing it right now. Other things McVeigh told you. Run back through it. Any other points you haven't made?
A couple of things, and I found support in this is the fact that he rented a truck in St. Paul, Minnesota, and one of the trucks that was used to build a bomb, not the bomb that actually exploded, but another bomb, that one that Terry Nichols helped him construct. The truck was actually a Ryder truck rented in St. Paul, Minnesota. I found in the documents, when he told me this, I was somewhat skeptical. I was never able to track it down. But bound to behold, when I got a hold of the defense documents, there was an FBI 302, and it says that there was a grand jury going on at the same time the grand jury was convened in Oklahoma City. A second grand jury was convened in St. Paul, Minnesota, and that they were investigating and trying to get records from a Ryder truck rental agency there. And so I truly believe there was at least 3 trucks used as part of the bombing plot in Oklahoma City, and that I've been able to verify.
Again, if you just joined us, David Paul Hammer has been able to get through to us. There's no gag order, nothing even legal involved from the lawyers I've talked to. This is just the government won't let anybody talk to death row inmates, and I think that violates their First Amendment. I think it empowers tyranny. If I ever get framed for something or put in prison, I want to be able to talk to the media. They built a new supermax. The news has reported that they're going to keep, quote, American terrorists in when they're suspects, and they're not allowed to talk to their family, friends, or even lawyers. They've got legislation where citizens can be secretly arrested, stripped of all rights. The Violent Belligerence Act, it says in there for any intelligence purpose, you disappear. And then only an act of Congress can even tell folks where you are. You can be given enhanced interrogation. That's been in the news. The headline: Senate wants citizens to be arrested if they're on suspicion of terrorism and be stripped of citizenship. Sir, you're not planning to commit suicide in jail, are you?
No, I'm not. I have absolutely no intent or desire to kill myself. As a matter of fact, I want to live as long as I can. And I want to say this, that I'm speaking out publicly because I want them to be a record of what I have to say. And one of the questions that I would pose to your audience and to you and just to anyone, what in the world does the government think I can say that's going to harm them? The only thing can be is that they're going to be, what's going to happen if it comes out that, yes, in fact, they covered up what happened in Oklahoma City. And there's no doubt they did. But I'm an inmate on death row, and as you said, credibility is an issue. People will believe me or they won't. I don't have an axe to grind with the government.
Well, I believe you because he told other, we have to pull up the mainstream articles. I can't remember all the places, but the quote was, one day it's going to come out the government did this. Do you remember where he said that?
No, but I have read or heard that before, and McVeigh clearly knew that I was going to write the information he was giving me. I wrote an earlier book that was published in 2004, but without the benefit of the investigation and the documents and the stuff that we've been able to accumulate since then. And so, I wrote the book and told bits and pieces of what McVeigh told us, but the majority of the stuff I had to leave out because it hadn't been verified yet. And this latest book details it. And
give the websites out again for people that want to go see this testament.
It's Deadly, www.deadly-secrets.com. Or if you just Google Deadly Secrets or David Paul Hammer, it'll come up that way too.
Well, I hope you've got a lot of bandwidth, because you're going to get hit with probably 500,000 hits.
Well, I really hope that people go and look at it, and not only that, Alex, someone has to care. Someone has to still care what happened in Oklahoma City.
Oh, listen, Mr. Hammer, I'm risking my life right now even doing this interview with you. I've got a family. I understand. Somebody's got to stand up. Somebody's got to say no. I'm not a death row inmate. I've seen all the documents you've seen. It's on record that they blew that building, and none of us are safe. And look how they're looting us with the banks. Look at how they want to arrest citizens now with no charges. I mean, we're in trouble. And so we need men to be men, not mice, and stand up to these people. And I'll never commit suicide, and I don't use drugs, and I'm not involved in anything illegal.
Right. Well, I also want to tell you, I welcome this opportunity to be able to speak out, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity, because, I have been wanting a way to not just make a written testament of what happened, but to get people to mobilize. I don't know if me saying anything is going to mobilize anyone, but I hope it'll at least motivate people to think about
Well, resistance is victory. Resistance is victory. And you having and I believe you, because everything you've already said is confirmed by others separately. I mean, when you talk about him saying they were going to stage his death, it was in the newspaper and on TV in Indiana that he was breathing when they took him out. I mean, you can pull that up. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know. Final segment with our guest. Hopefully he'll still be there when we get back from break. By the grace of God, his call made it through to us. And this is just incredible. And God protect us, please. And we were talking during the break about the ways they can persecute him. I was talking about all these clampdowns on prisons where people don't have any rights, which is really dangerous. And he said, oh, yeah, there's people in this prison that no one ever sees. And he talked about what they may do. They may come in his cell when they find out. They have to physically unplug the phone. This is a special phone system that he's on right now. Sir, go over that, and then let's talk about the fatigued leg. That came out in the news, a leg they can never identify with a body in 1995. Go ahead.
Well, I'll first talk about the people here who are on special administrative measures, which was enacted by an act of Congress, where people sentenced or awaiting trial could be held in special confinement where they're isolated without any access to the phone, correspondence, or anyone else. They're just totally isolated. And we have 3 of those people here on death row in a different part of the building where we never see them and they never see us.
So it's a dungeon. You just disappear, and that's what this new national law will do to everybody. Go ahead.
Well, they've had some of those people here for 3 years. And the thing I wanted to talk about, McVeigh told us that there was a man that he called Poindexter who actually helped him put together the bomb, who actually made the bomb in the warehouse in Oklahoma City. And that after the bomb was completed, when the major and one of his associates came to the warehouse where McVeigh and Poindexter still were to look over the bomb before the next morning. This happened the late evening of April 18th, 1995, that Poindexter had his throat slit and was killed and thrown into the back of the truck, and then the locks placed on the Ryder truck. And that when he was somewhat taken aback by what had just happened, and the major told him that he wasn't one of us, meaning military, and therefore he couldn't be trusted. And he was put in the bomb. Once the bomb exploded and all the havoc and all the deaths and mayhem, when the medical examiner's office was finished identifying people, and there was an extra leg, and the extra leg was found. It was attired in military fatigues and a combat boot, and that leg has never been identified to this day. I believe that's a big lead. McVeigh kind of laughed on a couple of times and said, look, all they have to do is run a DNA test. It's going to be in the military database or the CIA database of their agents or of military personnel. I don't know that is the case. But
no, it is. Everybody 37 and younger is in a CIA Pentagon database. That's now mainstream news. Blood's taken at birth. Everybody 37, now 38 or younger is in the database, born in a hospital. Told people this 14 years ago, now declassified. And, of course, the FBI, CIA, Pentagon all have access to the troops' blood as well. They also use it to frame people. But go ahead.
Well, there was testimony at Terry Nichols' trial and at McVeigh's trial about this extra leg, and the medical examiner, Dr. Fred B. Jordan, he was the medical examiner at the time in Oklahoma City. He said that, yes, we have this extra leg and no one has come to claim it. There was further testimony from experts who involved in bombings in England who testified that in all the bombing cases they were always, someone came, if there was an extra body part, someone always came to identify